Hello and hi. If you couldn't tell by now, one of my favorite things to do is go back in time and relive my inner childhood little by little with a lot of the videos that I grew up watching. And a lot of them are obviously obscure at this day and age, which is so sad. We have covered some at this point with Tales and Tunes, both the spooky Tales and Tunes and our Christmas Tales and Tunes. And that's a whole series that I love being able to go and little by little uncover and rediscover that series. But there are a lot more to cover besides just that. Before we get started, as always, my little disclaimer. I do not own any of this content, but it is used for educational and entertainment purposes. Let's carry on. Recently, while I was scrolling on YouTube, I was recommended a video that I completely forgot all about, and then of course that recommendation popped up and unlocked my memories again. Back in 1996, there was a video that was called Kids for Character. And I don't know too much of the history about it. I just remember going to my local library as a child, renting this video and watching it a bunch. You can imagine that it was really fun to go back in time and rediscover what I thought I remembered, what I didn't remember at all, and some mind-blown facts in a sense.
Universal Studios,
Wait, Universal
Florida.
Studios was a sponsor for this?
Sound Deluxe, Florida.
What is that?
Century 3 at Universal Studios,
so was this
Florida.
all filmed at Universal Studios?
Has
Character Counts Council came up with this tape that was filmed in Universal Studios, Florida. Clearly, I was very mind blown by that because I had no idea. I didn't remember it taking place at Universal Studios. They just used the background of it, so it wasn't something that stuck with me all my life. I mean, I forgot about this video until this year again, so you can see that it wasn't that monumental, not compared to other films that I grew up just continue to love today. Fun side note before we even dive into the video, I love how many films and even commercials today are still filmed at Universal Studios in Florida, because now that I have been there enough times and I can look at the locations and recognize everything, I can pin it out. When I was a kid, obviously it was not there yet, but today I know where that is. And even today, there is a commercial that is currently on television that was filmed at Universal.
I have type 2 diabetes, but I manage it well.
I understand that this commercial is very hated and is very much its own meme, but I have to recognize and give credit that it was filmed in the New York area of the park. I had to put that in there because my mother hates that commercial so much and I know she's watching this. I just needed to annoy her. It wasn't uncommon back in the 80s and 90s to have these mega crossovers with a bunch of different characters to do a PSA style message to teach kids good things. The first example I always think of was a Strug PSA in the early 90s. Obviously, Kids for Character is a lot more lighthearted and fun, but it's still important to compare what was done prior in a similar style. Kids for Character is within that same realm where it's a tape dedicated to teaching kids how to be a good character. I love the decade of the 90s. Obviously, it was my childhood, so of course I'm biased, but I just love how colorful it was and how hopeful it seemed. We are introduced by Tom Selleck about this Kids for Character.
Hi everyone, I'm Tom Selleck and I'm here with the stars of some of your favorite shows and stories to tell you about a very important thing inside all of us. It's called character. But before we begin, I'd like to talk to the grown-ups for a minute.
Okay, I guess that's me now since I'm officially a grown-up.
Oh, I get it. Some of you didn't want to leave. Well, that's okay because we're not going to talk about anything you can't hear. Kids for Character is designed to help you. So I hope you'll watch it with your children, have fun, sing along, and then talk to your kids about it. Explore the workbook together. Encourage them to be Kids for Character.
He mentions a workbook, so this was most likely shown in schools as well. I never remember watching it in school, but I don't really remember watching any videos in school outside of Bill Nye the Science Guy.
Bill Nye the Science Guy.
So my memory's foggy there. I just remember watching it at home in my free time as a kid. After Tom Selleck, we are introduced to our Kids for Character kids.
Michael, Sarah, Joey, Maria, Patrick, and Katie.
And we're also introduced to all of our characters that are going to be within this film.
The Cat in the Hat, Fred Flintstone and Barney Rubble, Garfield, George Jetson, Keno of Storytime.
There's also this character. What is that puppet? I don't know that one. I'm not familiar.
Ronald McDonald, Peter Rabbit, Scooby-Doo, Spot.
A lot of them are a mixture of characters that are found at Universal Studios, which of course I never knew about Universal Studios growing up. I was always a Disney kid, but I want to know if they still have those character suits somewhere. You know how Disney always has those rare character sightings that are hidden but then come out from once in a while? Does Universal have that? I want to know. Does the Cat in the Hat still come out? Garfield? I miss this. They had a lot more back then. We don't really have characters now today. Bring that back.
Characters are who we read about in books and watch on TV. Character is the person that you are inside. Character is made up of 6 pillars. Wait a minute. You're trying to tell me my insides are full of pillows? Not pillows, pillars.
And they break out into the first song of the video. Yes! I knew there was something refreshed to it. That's classic, clean 90s Nickelodeon Disney style rap it
There's
is.
just some words that you can
I
use
remember
to be a
that.
better person if you choose.
Yes, Queen, give us nothing.
To be a better person if you choose. 6 simple words all day long.
Thankfully, they're not that present in the video. They are more on the side. We get to go into our 6 pillars, and each one of them is broken down.
Trustworthiness is being honest, telling the truth, and keeping your promises.
Respect is treating others the way you want to be treated.
Responsibility is doing what you are supposed to do and trying your best.
Fairness is playing by the rules, taking turns, sharing, and listening to others.
Caring is being kind and thinking about how others feel.
Citizenship is making your community a better place to live.
Every pillar is broken down and it breaks into a little segment that features one of the shows. And it's great before we even get into the specific pillars and lessons from each of the shows. We also get some retrospectives from some kids and some characters in the parks to teach us all about it.
Trustworthiness, trustworthiness, trustworthiness. That wasn't so hard.
What rhymes with respect?
Repat? I don't know.
Correct. Responsibility. Ability to think and act rationally, and hence being accountable for one's behavior. What?
Fairness, the act of a baseball landing in fair territory.
That kind of fairness! Hugs and kisses are a great way to show your family and friends how you care about them. Citizenship! Ooh, what's that?
It's cute. I like these little segments a lot. In order, first up we have is Trustworthiness, and that is portrayed by the Puzzle Place.
Let's go to the puzzle place!
Which again is honestly such an obscure show. I used to watch all the time. I had toys from it that I remember playing with, and I honestly miss it, and I would love to have that better, like, that should be more mainstream, honestly, in my opinion, because it's similar. A lot of the same puppeteers that worked on it also worked on Bear in the Big Blue House and a lot of other awesome shows in the 90s. But this was really cool because it focused on diversity. The main story that they share in Trustworthiness is that our character Julie finds a pouch that she loves and thinks it's so cute and doesn't see anyone else have it, so she claims it as her own.
Ooh, what a beautiful purse. Wow, look at those beads. Oh, and these bells. Oh, this is so pretty. I wonder whose it is. Well, finders keepers.
Her own. Only it's her friend that has it, and she's afraid to return it. So she loses his trust, and after she returns it, she has to earn his trust back again.
Julie, but you knew this was mine. It didn't belong to you. I can't believe you did that.
Sky, I'm really, really sorry.
I'm glad you're sorry, Julie. And I'm really glad you gave my pouch back to me, but...
But what, Sky?
But I'm feeling very angry at you right now.
Sky needed time to forgive me, and to learn that he could trust me again. Having him trust me as his friend means more to me than having all the pouches on Earth. And that's the truth.
The second pillar we have is respect, and that is taught by us, by Barney and friends.
Wonder what Barney thinks about respect.
And of course it's Barney, so you're gonna have that very cutesy, lovey-dovey song where it's kind of cringe, but of course it was for preschoolers. I was a preschooler at that time, so I probably enjoyed it then, but listening it today, it's not one for the entire family. It's strictly just for, hey, kids, put this on and listen to it.
Show respect to others. Yeah. It's very easy to do. Just be polite and treat them right the way they should treat you.
Can we just remember when Barney was a rap god online and everyone was doing these edits with Big Papa and other songs from the 90s? We have All About Responsibility, and that is brought to us by the Magic School Bus.
Let's take a ride on the Magic School Bus and learn more about responsibility.
And I have a problem with this one. So the main story is that Wanda and Arnold are in the girls' bathroom and they borrowed Miss Frizzle's keys.
This is really embarrassing, Wanda.
It's okay, Arnold. You're with me.
What if somebody catches us in here?
Who's gonna catch you in the girls' bathroom? Tiffany.
Tiffany? Hi, Arnold. Arnold? Tiffany? Tiffany, wait! I can explain.
To me, that is not Arnold's fault. They're blaming they always blame Arnold for everything. They always blame him for everything. I remember from the show, generally, he is always blamed. No, justice for Arnold. He did not choose to go in the girl's bathroom. He thought the girl was cute. He was caught off guard and he got embarrassed. He's just a kid. Give him some respect and blame Wanda. No. That's my issue here. I feel justice for Arnold.
Now let's check in on Lamb Chop.
Next up, we get to pillar number 4, and that is with Lamb Chop, who teaches us all about fairness.
I would like to know that my little lamb chop tries to be fair in everything she does.
I do.
You do?
I do, really.
Really?
Really.
And it's cute. I mean, I adore Lamb Chop. She is the leader of the dog cult after all.
I am the leader of the cult. You are all in my tower. Lamb Chop, stop. Don't tell people that. Why not? It's true. I've been a cult leader since 1956.
I always loved the Lamb Chop show. I loved Cherry Lewis, and I grew up with that. So that was just a cute little thing to watch. It's nothing too exciting, but all of these segments are really short. They're like 5 minutes long because it's for kids.
Now I tell you what, let's see how them folks show they care on Gullah Island.
And then we get to number 5, which is Caring, which is by Gullah Island, which is still such a phenomenal show. Honestly, all of these shows on their own are amazing, and they were probably the peak of 90s children's entertainment. Gullah Island's lesson is all about caring, of course, and to treat people much better, and don't be mean to them.
Citizenship is about everybody working together, just like Babar.
I miss how calming cartoons used to be. Babar is very similar to Madeline and Little Bear, and honestly, I wonder if this is why a lot of millennials, obviously myself is included in that, loves ASMR, because it's so peaceful watching this. It was so calming and wonderful, and honestly a wonderful lesson too, because it's all about how you need to come together and be equal to help each other out.
You see, the Jungle Federation is not about fighting, but getting along. I know it sounds impossible, but there's a good reason we all try to make the effort at least once each year.
A lot of these lessons, of course, are still relevant today, as you can see. We got our 6 pillars, we learned all about them with the respective shows to teach us a little bit of a lesson through each one. And of course, it wouldn't be a big 90s finale without a giant parade and an original song. I miss all these characters. I want the face characters back in the park. Bring them out. Like, come on, it would be awesome to be able to meet Garfield at Universal. And obviously, it would be cute to meet Babar, but I know no one else would know who that is.
And if you do your part, obey the rules.
I gotta say, the song is really catchy, and it's really sweet. We had hope before the world went to trash. You see this? This is my childhood. No wonder why everyone turned into an emo adult now, an emo depressed millennial. This is what we were promised, and we did not continue with that. No, we need to go back into the hopefulness. It's honestly so sad though, because again, this was our world. This was our world back then, where everyone was colorful, everyone learned about caring and responsibility and fairness, and we had rainbows and fun little characters, and that's all gone now. In all seriousness, it is really nice to be able to look back at this and be able to kind of find some comfort, especially when everything is so uncertain and we don't know what's happening with our world today. That's why I like being able to go back and look at this. Yeah, it's like a little security blanket at times. It's nice to see some fun, cute little things. I would say that this one isn't as memorable as some of the other ones we watched, especially the Tales for Toons Christmas one I talked about. That is just such an amazing film that is great for the entire family to watch. That is something that's always so important too when you're looking at children's media, because you have the category of media that's made strictly only for kids, and there's things that adults don't enjoy about it. I would say the best example would be Barney. Barney is probably only for preschoolers, and you're not gonna find anything good about it when you grow up. But then you have other shows like Lamb Chop and Friends. I haven't watched a real episode of that in a long time. Sherry Lewis had such a great versatility where she did children's entertainment, but then she also had her own adult entertainment and Las Vegas show. So I think that's the difference, where you have your family entertainment and then you just have children's entertainment. And sometimes they overlap, but sometimes they are just separate. I will say though, the one thing that this makes me want to do is go back to Universal. It would be fun to be able to reenact. No one would know what you're doing. Just get on the steps and just be like, find me down there in Horror Nights and find me doing that. I am so curious if this is something that is completely obscure and no one remembers, or if you actually have memories of this as well. Also, like always, what happened to these kids? I would love to know what they ended up doing, how their experiences were, or even any crew members. Like, that's the one thing I love, and I think it's such a niche interest where I would love to be able to know what the experience was like on these projects, because they were these little dinky projects made for educational purposes, but it was such great edutainment, and I love being able to go back and look at it. There is going to be so much more to discover. The great thing was the 90s specifically, and probably the 2000s a little bit but basically between the 80s to the early 2000s, it was such a gold mine for a lot of this video entertainment. A lot of projects came out straight to video and VHS. I always love being able to rediscover some of the ones that I used to love, but also videos that I didn't know even existed. So if you have any recommendations of what I should watch next, also let me know in the comments below. And until then, you guys can stay tuned and I'll see you in the next one.